Well, hello, Pittsburgh, and welcome back to the QBurgh Podcast. If you are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and yes, even an ally, then you will find this program not only to be informative, but entertaining as well. My name is Jeff Freedman, and we're starting this podcast from our lovely studio here in beautiful downtown Pittsburgh, and we're taking it on the road to Brewer's Bar. We had the privilege to visit Brewer's just days before the final farewell to chat with Carol Usner-Held, the owner, about the rich history of the bar and its lasting impact on our queer community here in Pittsburgh. We at QBurgh extend our heartfelt thanks to Carol for participating in this interview, which we know must have been incredibly challenging. Our goal is to document and share with our listeners and viewers some amazing stories from what was Pittsburgh's oldest gay bar. There's still time to thank them on their Facebook page, which is also titled Brewer's Bar. I'm sure that Carol and staff would appreciate it. So don't go anywhere, Pittsburgh. This is a touching interview that we know you will enjoy. We'll be right back.
Hey Pittsburgh!
We're coming to you, the Average at Best tour.
Brand new material.
Same old disappointment. See you soon.
Fresh off their highly successful No Refunds World Tour, comedic married duo Darcy and Jer are bringing their Average at Best tour to the Byam Theater in the heart of Pittsburgh on February 24th. A brand new show packed with the same old disappointments. Join them as they riff on their neurodiverse relationship, tackle parenting, and explore their life as an average middle-aged couple. This relatable and often raunchy duo will leave you wanting more. Come see the internet's favorite couple wax poetic about their suburban, relatable adventures. Get tickets at darcyandjer.com. DARCYANDJER.com.
Hi, and we're back, and we're here for our very first on-site podcast. Couldn't think of a better place than Brewers. And with me today is Carol Held. So welcome, Carol, to our podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that we are here. We have a lot to talk about.
Good. I'm glad you're here too.
Oh gosh. I mean, you think about Brewers, right? And there's a lot of great memories that have come here. So give our viewers a history of Brewers and how Brewers came about and what brought us to what we're here right now.
Like back from like my dad?
Yeah, exactly. Right at the beginning of Brewers. How did Brewers get started?
So from what I understand of how it got started was my dad, and he was a cop for the city of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And he would do detail work. And he did a detail job at a bar in East Liberty for a man named Lucky at the club there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the security guard outside.
The Children.
I'm not sure what it was. I guess if that's what it was. I know it was East Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was the cop there. Well,
Mm-hmm.
him and Lucky got to be really good friends. And he had said, hey, Andy, I know this bar that's for sale in Lawrenceville. You should buy it. I'll help you, we'll turn it into a gay bar. And I'll help you get established and everything. And that's how Brewers came about. Someone asked me just recently, well, how did you get the Brewers name? And I said I don't know.
Right,
I don't know how Brewers came about. I don't.
But we're right near the brewery.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Maybe he put it together and said the Brewers
Mm-hmm.
Hotel and Bar. Like I'm guessing that,
Because he not only bought a bar, but there's rooms upstairs
yes.
as well, right?
Yes.
Completes one-stop shop here, right?
Right.
So to speak.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So how long ago was that?
44 years ago, 45 years ago.
Wow. So this would be the longest continuous gay bar in Pittsburgh.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then your dad did really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Great history here. Let's talk about some of the history, especially during the 80s.
Right.
So tell us about that.
So back in the 80s, I think I was 81, 80. Like, I guess it was like bad. The AIDS was probably bad more in the mid 80s,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like, I remember my senior year of high school. But it was never like talked about in our home. Like my dad kept this very privately,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't, we knew what he had, that it was, it was a men's gay bar and everything. And we were always told we weren't allowed to come in down here to, for anything. And he, that's just how I remember it. And then then I just knew after when he passed away, like I didn't know anything. Like I would hear people being sick down here and that AIDS or whatever, but I didn't. I was young. I was living my teenage life. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't caring what was happening down here. I mean, honestly, and so then it wasn't until probably when he got sick, and then I started to come around and was taking care of him, that I started to know what was going on here at Brewers.
The real history of Brewers.
The real history. And then when I took over, when he passed away, and I was getting like, people were actually from here coming like to the funeral home for like visitation. And people were saying, oh my God, your father did so much for our community. And if you would have seen the flowers, half the funeral home was flowers from people from the community. You know, all the bars had sent flowers, which was so nice. And the organizations were sending flowers, and you know, my brothers and I were kind of just like, what's the, you know, this, it was a different life that we didn't really know anything really about. So,
because AIDS was very stigmatized at the time, and people were being thrown out of their apartment, of their living, just for having HIV.
Right.
The ignorance of knowing that HIV does not equal AIDS.
Right.
Was not the information that we had back then. Was not what it is now.
No. So
people were actually being thrown out and being made homeless.
Right.
But they didn't. They had a place to come.
Here, yeah, they came here, and there was an article that was written in I think it was 86 or 89, and when I took over in 2010, when he passed away, my brothers had that article, and they said, you got to read this article, Carol, you know, and so I read the article, and I've probably from 15 years from today, read that article probably 100 times. And every time I read the article, I cry.
Oh.
It's just so sad. The article started about, there were two guys that lived upstairs, and they were a couple, and they both had AIDS. And the article started with one buried his partner, his husband that day, and they were coming back here to Brewers. And when they came back here to Brewers, they started talking, and you know, things just, you know, it had like their little party, you know, whatever, celebration of his life. And that's how I ended up getting to know like really what was happening from that, you know. And then people telling me, you know, my customers telling me like what had happened here back in the 80s, and how people came here because they were sick, they had nowhere to go, they were dying, they were diagnosed with AIDS, and they stayed. My dad gave them a room. He paid for their food. He paid for their medicine. And it was during COVID that I found out that he also paid for their funeral. He would pay for their burials.
There weren't a lot of funeral homes back then that would even take
There was
AIDS.
one.
There was one.
And I really don't even remember the name, because when the guy came in here and he was telling me that, it hit me so hard. I was crying again. And you know, because every day it just seemed like there was a different story of this place, of the stuff that my dad did that we never knew. I mean, it was just, he was just such a selfless person that he did things to, you know, because he just loved this community.
Compassionate.
You know? Very.
It was very compassionate.
Very, yeah.
So upstairs are how many rooms?
13.
13 rooms. So, but yeah, and they were all being rented out at the time.
Yes.
So, and I will, because I know, because I was there back in the day when this was the place to come for compassionate and care. So your dad was a living legend at the time. And so, yeah, you have a great legacy here in him.
Yeah.
And with that, though, the bar survived, right, as far as went through the AIDS crisis, and the bar kind of picked up a bit. And you know, I know that it's just right across the street from Donnie's. And so there was a lot of back and forth, right?
Yep.
Back in the heyday, right? With the bars.
Even still back when Donnie's just a couple years ago.
Right.
I mean, even back then, I mean, they were still back and forth, you know. They would come here, then they would head over there, then they would come back here.
Because it's just right across the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Where, you know, you can walk and drink.
Yep.
You know, I just remember it was just one beer away. Right. So just come back and forth.
Yep.
It was great.
I know. So they say, yeah.
But no, I really, it was a living testament to your dad that your dad actually did that. Because your dad and I also was an umpire in the Steel City Softball League.
Right.
So, which I remember well back in the early days, where the Steel City Softball League started, and they started with policemen being as their umpires, the first outdoor gay sports or outdoor activity that our community had. And your dad, that's how I originally met your dad, arguing with him over balls and strikes. So, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you didn't argue with your dad, right? Your dad was a pretty nice guy, but you don't argue with your dad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, so from what I heard from that too was that the softball league went to go and get umpires, and the umpire league said, no, we're not going to umpire for a gay league. And that's how my dad ended up getting to umpire, was because he heard that the league wouldn't have been able to carry on unless there was umpires. So he got my brother and his friends and, some policemen, and they umpired every weekend.
There was three of them. Three city cops that umpired our games and stuff every Sunday morning. So most people went to church. We went to softball.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey.
So there you go. And you guys supported the softball league pretty much. You've supported the softball league ever since, right?
Yeah.
And you've had incredible events here. Well, let's get back to how you got involved in all this. So your dad unfortunately passed away how many years ago?
15.
15 years ago. And that's how you got here, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I remember, him passing away, and we were sitting in my mom's house, and I have 3 older brothers, and one was at the time a detective for the city, and so he couldn't do anything with, you can't own a bar or whatever, so he couldn't do anything. The other 2 brothers just didn't really want anything, and so my mom said, I would rather you anyways, take it, so I said, yeah, and I wanted it because my dad and I were super close,
right? And
I just felt like I needed to take this to, for my dad, I don't know.
You had a good connection with him.
Yeah. And so I needed this bar as much as I guess maybe the bar needed me. I don't know what it was, but I needed this place at the time for healing, and so I just remember coming here and coming down and introducing myself to everybody. I'm Andy's daughter. I'm taking over, and I'm like, it was a little rough.
Oh, I bet.
It was a little rough.
I bet.
But I managed, and everybody seemed to manage, and and I had big ideas when I first took over. I wanted to do so many things, but could only do a little bit at a time, as I realized as I went along that all the stuff wasn't as possible as I was dreaming in my head. So, but here we are today, and
But you did a lot of great things. There's a lot of great things in Brewer's history here. So give us a few examples of you were open every holiday. Again, to your father's legacy, your father's tribute and all that.
Yeah.
You never closed on a holiday.
No.
You were here for the community, right? So tell us a little bit about these events that went on at Easter and Thanksgiving.
So we had home cooked meals for every holiday. You were free, no charge. You can come in and you were guaranteed a home cooked meal. And that was for every holiday that there is, you came and got a meal. So, and that was just my dad's way, and I kept it that way. So
who did all the cooking?
Well, sometimes the bartenders helped me out, and I would do maybe some main stuff, and they would do everybody pitched in that worked for me. It wasn't I was asking customers; it was like my bartenders. A lot of them would help.
People
pitch
gave
in.
back.
Yeah, like
People gave back.
Everybody helped put things together and all that, so it all worked out.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your Christmas event.
So then the Christmas drive started. That was like 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, when I had given a guy that lives upstairs a Christmas gift. And I came here, it was Christmas Day, and I came to drop off Christmas dinner. And so I called him while I was here, and I said, oh, hey, you want to come on down? He come down, and I gave him a gift. And it really wasn't anything big. It was like some cookies and, some of that Pepperidge Farm stuff that you get from like Walmart or whatever, Right. And I had it wrapped up, and he looked shocked, but I didn't think anything. And I just said, Merry Christmas. Thank you for everything, you do for me, during the year, blah, 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 blah. He thanked me and went back upstairs. And then as we're driving home, like 5 minutes down the road, my phone rings and it's him. He goes, I just wanted to say, I don't know what I'm more excited about, that I got a gift or to open it. He said, I haven't opened or got a gift in 18 years. And I thought, oh my God, that is never going to happen here again. Like I need to do something. I need to change it because when I came in here that day to bring in dinner, the bar was crowded, and there's all these people sitting in here, and it's just sad. It was sad. It made me sad because I'm going home to spend it with my children and my grandchildren and my brothers and my sister, and everything, and my family, and there's people sitting here, and I'm like, that just to me was just so sad, So a couple months into the new year, and I thought of, what a better way to honor my dad than to have this Christmas thing that I want to do and call it the Andy Usner Christmas,
nice.
Organization. So that's how it started.
Right. And your most successful year?
Over 500 Christmas gifts.
Isn't that amazing? Donated.
Very, very amazing.
Donated, right?
All donated, yes.
All donated.
Yep, not a dollar was spent out of my pocket. Everything was donated.
And you had a little Christmas party here.
Well, we didn't have a Christmas party. No,
I mean,
so we would take.
How did that work?
How I did it was the last 2 years we received over 500 Christmas gifts. So I divided the Christmas gifts up, and I gave Christmas gifts to all the bars to give out to their patrons on Christmas. Some were closed. I know 58 was closed on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. They handed theirs out either like the day before or whatever for a party. Same with, I think, P-Town. But every bar got Christmas gifts also along with us. So what a better way to share all the wealth was to give it to everybody,
Right,
so,
right.
Oh, it was good.
That is really, really, really
hard.
So you've done some remodeling in here, I see.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the updates and stuff that you've done here.
So we did the main bar during COVID, and we put the garage door in probably a year after COVID. And then just recently, within the year, we made the underground, the nightclub, and an extra bar downstairs, more bathrooms.
Let's talk about the garage door in the front.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's a window. It's not a window. It's an opening, right?
It's an opening.
And you're right here on Liberty Avenue.
Opening, yep.
How was your clientele affected by that?
So at first.
How did they feel about that? Because this was
closed in.
It was closed
in forever.
Right.
No one ever knew. People still, to this day, didn't know this bar even existed. I get that all the time. They're like, I didn't even know that bar, when it was closed up. I didn't even know it was a bar, you know?
Right.
And so I get this crazy idea, like, let's open this. When Lawrenceville started to start booming down on Butler Street, I got this crazy idea. I'm like, I need to create something in here, open this up, make us look like we're a bar too,
Right.
So I wanted to do like a ledge where you can put your, have sit outside and kind of drink, but the city kind of said no to that, I had to put a ramp and everything. So that kind of took out the thing. So then we did, okay, we'll put a garage door in, and put a ledge, because we were going to have the garage door initially go down to the ground and then be able to maybe open it up and put some tables out there on the sidewalk. But like I said, they made us put the ramp in because of the elevation and everything, which, okay, so it changed some plans. So then we did the garage door, and I wasn't sure how my,
people were going to react.
My customers were going to be, towards it, when it first, because it's open, and we open it. Come, nice days. I say, open that door up, and so, but one of my customers one day when we first opened it up, he said, "Can I talk to you a second?" I said, "Yeah." Walk over, and I'm thinking in my head, "Oh, here we go." He's going to start reaming me out again because here I am doing crazy renovations again,
Right.
And he grabbed my hands and he started to cry and said, "I just want to say thank you."
Aww.
He said, "Thank you for not being ashamed of us. Thank you for opening up this door and letting everybody see us." He said, "For so long we've been closed up, and you took a chance." He's like, you took a chance. You opened us up. He said, and not just to a little street. He's like the main street,
Right.
You opened us up to the main road. And he's like, and you're just proud of it. He goes, "I'm just so happy that you did that," and that brought tears to me. I'm crying. He's crying. I'm like, so that was pretty emotional.
Yeah, it shows about progress and how comfortable we are.
Yeah.
Because, there weren't a lot of windows in gay bars here in Pittsburgh.
No.
That didn't happen.
No.
So, well, it's kind of the end of an era, though. for you.
Yep.
In a good way.
Yep.
And we're going to be positive about this next little segment, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try. I'm going to try not to cry here.
I know. So, so the bar's been sold.
It has.
Right?
Well, we're maybe days away from, we're just waiting for the state at this point to, issue the transfer.
Right.
And once the transfer is issued, then we're 5 days and they'll take over. And,
Right. So it's pretty much, the end of an era for you and your father's legacy.
Yes.
Never forgotten.
Right.
So give us some of your favorite moments of the place. Like, give us some really good stuff that really
you're putting me on the spot.
Well, I know you have too many, right?
I do have a lot,
Good.
Honestly, I do.
Good.
There's so many. There's been so many good times here with so many good people that I've met that I can probably take forever. They're going to be my friends forever.
Absolutely.
Forever. But there's a couple that really stick with me, and the one was we did a Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm.
And during that Make-A-Wish, it was my bartenders, they donated their tips. And I matched those tips. So we had a guest bartender from the community come in and would do bartending for 2 hours. And they would bring all their friends in, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But we ended up raising a wish for a little boy who actually lived here in Lawrenceville.
Nice.
We weren't allowed to get his name or anything, but he lived here in Lawrenceville, and we made his wish come true. And that to me just was everything. That was one.
Okay.
Another, big one was I received this PNC Small Business Award last year.
Congratulations.
That was awesome.
From the Three Rivers Business Alliance.
From the Three Business, yes.
You gave an excellent speech.
Oh, thank you.
So very, very nice, very heartwarming.
Yeah, that was very nice. Dinner and everything was so nice. And then, maybe there's been so many. I can't even think.
Exactly.
Literally, there's been so many. So many drag performances. That have been just so awesome. I always say I had the best drag shows, back in the day. They were so good. They were so phenomenal. Such great performers here, so it was all so great.
So any last words to your clientele at all that you want to say? Or, well, before you say it, let me say thank you on behalf of the community. And it's just been an incredible. We're so fortunate that we had someone like you and someone like your dad in our community look out for us.
Thank you.
So we really, really, really are appreciative of that.
Thanks.
So
that
thank
means
you.
a lot.
We really do. We really, really do. So fortunate to have you. So what's happening with you? Any last words, and where are you going now?
So I'm here for probably another maybe year and a half. And then my husband and I are going to move to Destin, Florida.
Oh.
We're going to buy some condos, rent them out.
Good.
And maybe open up a new little small business where we are going to rent beach chairs and beach tents.
Something a little less hectic?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just kind of retire. I want to visit my grandkids more. Want to be more relaxed. I need to relax myself at this point in my stage of life,
Right.
This is the next phase in your chapter of life, and I'm so ready for it. I'm just so ready for it.
Yes. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And all that. Thank you. And just again, we're so appreciative of everything that you've done and Brewers has done. So
thank you.
Kudos and all that.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the community, again, thank you again.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everyone. And don't forget, stay proud, Pittsburgh.